this thing on?
Oh, no. There goes Tokyo.
Go Godzilla. I like Godzilla. And that's the movie I watch, so I sure hope it's Godzilla week.
It is Godzilla week.
Yay!
Godzilla Day has come and gone because unless November 3rd falls on a Wednesday, we're always going to be a little late because of Halloween.
Why is that Godzilla Day?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, just is November 3rd?
Maybe it's the day the first movie came out. I don't know why they picked it.
Maybe it's Godzilla's birthday.
Mm-hmm. That wasn't the day the bombs were dropped, so I don't know.
It wasn't?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to take a 2 in 365 guess and say no.
But it wasn't just from the bombs in Japan, right?
I feel like it was summer.
It was all the bombs in the world that made the ocean radioactive.
Radioactive?
Mm-hmm. That's why we have radios now. Because
they're active.
Right. Mm-hmm. Before that, we didn't have any radio. We just had like the Pony Express and shit.
Yep.
I went to school. I read books.
I went to school with you. I'm not surprised at any of this.
I'm going to open my water.
Because Godzilla Days, we missed it. We're a little early on it. We're a week early as usual. There probably was announcements on Godzilla Day. There usually is about Godzilla goings on.
Oh. Ooh, I thought I heard something, but about Godzilla.
They probably talked about the Godzilla -1 sequel because I think they're trying to get it in theaters by the end of 2026 because they have that rule about not releasing another Godzilla movie when an American Godzilla movie comes out. And the next American Godzilla movie comes out in 2027. So they either get the next movie in theaters in America in 2026 or they got to wait a long time.
I see. I didn't know they had that rule. Is it like a legal thing or just I don't want to...
I don't know. Toho doesn't want to double dip on they don't want to cut off their own profits, although they did that last time because they put Godzilla -1 in theaters in December. It was a surprising giant hit. And then they had to pull it from theaters because like a month before Godzilla X Kong came out.
Which was not a giant hit.
It was.
No, I haven't seen it. So, what a bust.
Well, the Godzilla -1 sequel is expected to be a direct continuation from the same writer-director.
That's exciting. You know what I realized today? And it shows that I don't pay attention to anything. Today when I was watching Godzilla v. Destoroyah, which is the movie we were supposed to watch, right?
Godzilla versus Destoroyah.
No.
You came close.
All right. Wait. What does V mean then?
Vendetta.
Oh, okay. Right. Oh, I forgot. But anyway, while I was watching it, I realized the music is the same as the music in -1, and it's probably the same score throughout the franchise.
The same Godzilla score.
That's pretty cool.
I just want to say that it's funny that you get mad that it's Godzilla X Kong, but you just threw a Godzilla v. Destoroyah in there with the same little amount of meaning.
But the X means multiply,
I
right?
think it means cross.
What does cross mean?
I don't know. Ask video games. They started that shit.
What video game?
Tekken X Street Fighter.
I never heard of that game.
Well, now you have.
I thought it was... See, it was Marvel versus Capcom. I remember that one.
And Batman v Superman.
Yep.
All right. The American sequel coming in 2027, another Godzilla X Kong movie. Dan Stevens seems to be the only returning actor, but the rest of the cast is pretty good. I looked it up.
All right, hit me with it.
Scare Value Award winner Caitlin Dever.
Who is she?
She was in that movie that she won an award for a couple years ago as Best Final Girl.
All right, good for her.
She's on The Last of Us now.
Fresh.
The
movie Fresh.
Different actress. She was in Twisters.
She was in Twisters. Helen Hunt.
That was Twister.
That's Sisters.
The girl from Fresh is in Twisters. And her name, I also don't know. So, both Jack O'Connell and Delroy Lindo from Sinners. They're double dipping on the Sinners cast.
Okay.
Matthew Modine.
Ooh, haven't seen him in a while.
And Oppenheimer. If you saw Oppenheimer, he was in
Nope.
it. And Sam Neill, who has a history with this sort of thing.
Yay!
It's a good cast.
It's a good cast. I don't know what they expect to do in this film because I didn't watch the last one. As near as I can tell, King Kong had like a magic arm and there was a baby King Kong. Yeah. And I don't know why I was watching this over my 10-year-old's like shoulder on a plane once. So I had no sound and the Godzilla was there and they like wrestle the bad guy.
Yeah, it's not good. Mothra comes back. That's the only thing that really was of interest to me in that movie.
I vaguely remember Mothra coming back.
I almost gave a fist pump in the theater. I was so happy. Maybe I was just happy anything happened. It's not a good movie.
Holy cow. I'll tell you later.
Okay. This is Godzilla week for us because I turned it into a week because our podcast always comes out on Wednesday and I'm not going to move it to the third.
And I like thinking about Godzilla all the time.
Me too.
For 1 week.
Without getting ahead of ourselves, I love this movie so much that I briefly considered just changing the format of this podcast to a Godzilla podcast because I thought I want to watch another 24 of these in a row. But let's get caught up to where we are in the franchise. Godzilla vs. Destoroyah is the 22nd Godzilla movie. It has a special place in history. It is the last Godzilla movie of the Heisei era. Now, I know you're going to ask.
I'm already nodding.
They call, as you've asked before, they label these after the emperors of the time. So the Heisei era is whatever emperor was in place until...
Japan has different emperors?
Yeah, we've been over this. It's a ceremonial position. And then you said, do you think he watches a lot of movies? And I said, he has a lot of time. And he's like, but he's the emperor. I said, ceremonial. And then we argued about what that meant.
Serial related?
Yeah, every year we do this. This is our Godzilla Day. You just put in last year's episode. You can get to that conversation.
All right, I'll listen to it and assume I know the answer.
This movie came out in 1995. They're just 30 years ago today, but 41 years after the original Godzilla. But I keep saying 40, which I know must have driven you nuts.
I didn't even know.
And this is the last one before America took a giant shit on the franchise in 1998.
But that's a rough one to deal with.
Let's see, the history of the franchise. 1954, Godzilla pops up. It's very important to know that he is soloed by one Dr. Daisuke Serizawa.
It's very important for you.
It's very important for this movie to know that.
Yeah, for a minute. Okay, I got a lot of questions. So you give me the synopsis.
We're not anywhere near that yet. That's why I try to have the format here.
All right, well, come on. What's taking you so long?
When I started this with before we get into that. That's the that.
Well, it's taken way too long.
There's a bunch of movies where he's the good guy. He becomes the good guy in the 60s.
Serizawa?
And Serizawa dies.
Yeah.
It's a noble sacrifice.
But he was the bad guy because he killed Godzilla.
That was a bad Godzilla. Godzilla becomes a good guy in the 60s.
How does he come back then?
It's a different Godzilla.
What?
It's important to know. They say in this movie who killed the original Godzilla.
I didn't hear the original part.
You didn't hear anything. It's in Japanese. You read it. So it's a second Godzilla that appears in Godzilla Raids Again. And from Godzilla Raids Again until the end of the Showa era, it's one Godzilla. They ignore all that from Godzilla Raids Again to the end of the Showa era when the Heisei era begins. Now, that begins in 1984 with the return of Godzilla, which here in America was called Godzilla 1985. They brought Raymond Burr back, had him do his character again from another apartment,
another hotel room.
Another hotel room.
Okay.
My favorite thing. That continues through 1995 with the end of it being Godzilla versus Destoroyah. So that is a different Godzilla. So this is like the first Godzilla dies in the first movie.
Okay.
A second Godzilla appears for all the Showa movies. Then the beginning of the 1984 movie ignores all that happened and says, here's a new Godzilla. It's just like a sequel to the first one. But over time, they start incorporating stuff that happened in the other ones. Anyway, it gets like Evil Dead where like everything starts counting.
Well, yeah, whatever is cool, you just kind of make as part of the history. You fold it in.
But you can take this like being from 1984 to 1995 as one Godzilla monster.
Okay, so it's the same guy.
And he's not good anymore in this series. These 90s ones, 80s and 90s ones are maybe my favorite little run of the whole series because it's more serious. He's more trouble for them, but also they have fun with it. They do wacky things like psychic powers of people.
Okay, all right.
So I like a lot.
That's one of the questions.
I like all the things they did in this era, and this is the end of that era.
So this is the second Godzilla.
The third
Godzilla.
But the second, if you want, just if you take it as a direct sequel, sure.
Right, you want to ignore when he was a good guy all the time.
All you have to know is that first movie, you never see that Godzilla again. He dies.
I think I saw him in the credits of this one.
Yes, you did.
So
you saw him in flashbacks too.
Did I? Oh yeah, right. The beginning was all flashbacks.
No.
Yeah, what? Okay. Well, are you done? Is that the synopsis?
Yeah, God forbid I tried to get you caught up even a little bit on where we are.
Okay. Well, because like, I'm going to give you full disclosure here.
Took me Michael Douglas style.
Yes. I watched this in 3 installments.
Of course.
The first.
I had to watch on Tubi. Do you know why I had to watch on Tubi despite owning this movie, Pete?
Why?
Because it sat in different states of being watched on my Vudu account for 2 weeks.
So the first part is I remember it was black and white, and it's about a half an hour long, and then I fell asleep, and it talks about how Serizawa...
Which isn't true.
Serizawa was a scientist who killed Godzilla back in the day, and Godzilla's back now for some reason, and he's mad, and he's blowing stuff up. I think there was like I don't know, he's gone thermonuclear, but he's like too hot. Then I fell asleep. He was wrecking some town. Then like a week and a half later, I watched, but it was early in the morning, and you know what I found out? If you close your eyes and you don't speak the language that they speak, you don't know what's going on.
One time I was watching like one of them old Showtime movies, and I started falling asleep. And I didn't realize it was a foreign language movie until I was starting to fall asleep. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't understand anything. I opened my eyes. It's like, have I been reading this movie the whole time? I was young and I didn't know what I was doing yet.
I thought you were going to say you suddenly realized you speak like Mandarin. Like you
briefly thought I did, because when I started falling asleep, I couldn't do it anymore.
Well, so then for some reason there's another Godzilla and a bunch of little monsters.
The best way to do this is for you to do a plot breakdown of what you remember from 3 different times you half asleep watched this movie.
But there were psychic girls, and there was a baby Godzilla who was
called Junior. I can get to all of it if you want to, because I know what happens in this movie, unlike you.
All right, go ahead.
This is one of my absolute favorite Godzilla movies. It was probably my third favorite Godzilla movie, honestly. It was probably number 2 until Godzilla -1 came out.
This is a fun one.
I think this movie incorporates everything I love about middle era Godzilla. And by middle era, I basically mean from the second movie until like before Shin Godzilla. Like take out the 2 modern era ones, take out the American ones altogether, but take out the 2 modern era Japanese ones. Everything I enjoy is like done better in this movie than any other movie in the series. It's got the rubber suited monsters fighting each other with fake buildings.
Which are awesome.
Human characters that are ridiculous. Everything about it is like dialed up to 11, and it's killing me. Like the whole movie, I'm like, every scene in the movie is another ridiculous idea that I love.
Freeze rays.
But even just taking it back to the original. So the usual patter where they're like having to explain stuff, it's interesting stuff because they haven't talked about Dr. Serizawa in 40 fucking years. So now I'm getting, you know how many, this movie was lousy with Dr. Jimenez. There's 3 of them.
Who is Dr. Jimenez?
He's the guy in the first movie who's like, we have to study him as he's destroying Tokyo. And I'm like, no, he's Amiko's father.
Oh, okay.
So you got Amiko, you got Amiko's niece, you got Yamane's grandson. It's lousy with Yamane's. They've taken it back to the beginning for the 40th anniversary and they missed it by a year, which I think is funny. But so all the usual technical stuff I'm more interested in because it's all connected to Serizawa. The guy's out there taking soil samples where Serizawa died, and I'm like, this is fucking incredible.
What did he find out? There's micro-oxygen.
That the oxygen destroyer, he'd already invented micro-oxygen, that the oxygen destroyer had unleashed something that was dangerous.
Is that crab axe head guy?
Destoroyah.
That's right. That was his name. But there was more of them.
I'm sorry. Destoroyah. His name is Victor Destoroyah.
Victor Destoroyah. But there were multiple. So was it perhaps versions? That's what the V stands for?
They could combine like a Voltron.
That was one of my questions. Was he like a Voltron or a Power Ranger?
He's one of the coolest one-off kaijus ever.
He falls apart again, and then he grows back together again.
It's amazing. Okay, let's just get to the movie here. It begins by seeing that Godzilla's home island has been destroyed or disappeared, but it looks like it sank.
It was called Birth Island or something.
Called Birth Island.
Yeah.
In the translation. In the translation, they call it Destroyer. It's been a point of contention in the Godzilla franchise forever because this movie was originally available in the U.S. under Godzilla versus Destroyer, but they're clearly saying Destoroyah.
Yeah, why?
Because it's supposed to be Destoroyah, but the translation was just like, oh, they're saying Destroyer, and so now it's released under Godzilla versus Destoroyah correctly.
That's good,
but it's you saw the subtitles; they still called it Destroyer, and I'm like, oh,
I didn't.
Okay, you had your eyes closed.
I heard Destoroyah, though.
Yes. Godzilla's home island has disappeared, as have Godzilla and Baby Godzilla, a.k.a. Little, a.k.a. Godzilla Jr. Now,
also Junior.
This isn't the same Baby Godzilla that we remember from the bad movies in the 60s. This is a different franchise. Right. 2 movies before this, they introduce a little Godzilla. He still sucks, but he stops sucking in this one because he's grown up.
Is he like a friendly Godzilla? Because he seems to be psychically linked.
Okay. The psychically linked people, it seems like you want to get right on that, even though I've got it in here, but it seems like you want to get into that quick.
I'm trying to understand.
There is something called G cells.
Okay.
Godzilla cells. They infect people and they end up having a connection to Godzilla. This goes back to the end of Godzilla -1 and my theory that that's what's going to happen to Noriko. Noriko, at the end of that movie, she doesn't just survive the blast. There's clearly been infected by Godzilla radiation poisoning, but she's not being poisoned. It's showing you that she's got some of that G cells in her. So I wonder if that's a way that they're going to go in the sequel, is that she can communicate with him in a way that is going to be helpful, because that's happened in this franchise before. It's one of my favorite little things to throw a fun little sci-fi spin onto an already, fun kaiju movie. So when you ask if Little Godzilla is a good guy, yes and no. He's not destructive like Godzilla is, but he doesn't have a purpose like that until the end of this movie, really. He doesn't have a purpose like that at all. He just is growing, and he's just like Godzilla's only little buddy.
Yeah, where did he come from?
He hatched from an egg, just like there's multiple Godzillas. That's how they keep saying it. They're out there.
Oh, okay.
He hatched, and then he's Godzilla's one of his kind, so Godzilla kind of takes him under his wing. He doesn't really have a purpose in this franchise until the very last shot of this movie, really. But
because I have questions about that.
But they care about him because they connected to him.
Okay.
And this
like
whole
they care about a puppy or something.
This whole G-force is there to monitor Godzilla, but Godzilla's not a good guy.
He's just a dude.
Yes, he's not. He doesn't mean destruction. He doesn't mean to save anybody. He just means to be Godzilla. So it turns out a volcanic eruption occurred, and now Godzilla is having an atomic meltdown. So
is that how he got his power then?
Well, he had his radiation power,
but he was going crazy with power.
He's red.
Yeah,
he's glowing red.
Yeah, right.
Because he's melting down. It's activated something in him, and now his core is going to melt down and destroy the entire world. And he's in Hong Kong to start with, which must have been a real relief to the Japanese.
Was that supposed to be some sort of analogy for nuclear power again? And then there was talk about carbon dioxide at one point.
Pete, you won't believe this. Every one of these movies is supposed to be about atomic weaponry.
Not all of them.
Every single one of them.
Not the ones.
Except the American ones where we're all for it.
Even the ones with the friendly little baby Godzilla, who like cheers on with the kids while Godzilla fights.
I guess not those, because he's helping us.
Yeah, he's kind of our friend, our big nuclear buddy.
Yeah, this Godzilla's not your friend.
He's not your enemy unless you're in his way.
He is this time because he's losing his shit.
Is that why he's destroying everything? I thought he was trying to go somewhere.
But he's not a good guy, and throughout this whole part of this franchise, the Heisei era, he's not the same noble Godzilla that we get in like the American ones.
Well, yeah, I know. No, he's like the Godzilla in -1, where he's just a force of nature that kind of is on a path.
Yes, but until this Godzilla vs. Destoroyah opening, where he's kind of just wrecking Hong Kong for no reason, he hasn't been doing it like Godzilla -1, where he seems to be doing it targetedly on purpose. He just is gonna destroy things because he's Godzilla, but he mostly just stay out of his fucking way. The Godzilla -1, he was coming for you. It didn't feel like that the last few of these movies, but part of that's because they could psychically just move him where they wanted to.
I thought they were psychic with Junior.
They're psychic with everything. They can do
with all the Godzillas.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
Oh, is that why they said they couldn't hear the big Godzilla anymore because he was melting down?
Yes, you did read something. There you
go.
The grandson of Dr. Yamane figures out that Godzilla is having a nuclear meltdown, and if he explodes, it will melt the Earth to its core. So this movie has a cool countdown clock the whole time, because no matter what happens, they're fucked.
He's melting.
Real higher stakes than ever. And the scientist has developed micro-oxygen, which can enlarge fish to cure world hunger. A noble idea that, of course, can be used as a weapon more powerful than the atomic bomb. Which, if that sounds familiar, that's what the oxygen destroyer was.
So he went the wrong way. He made more oxygen, because oxygen destroyer is your friend. But
no, it's not.
Yeah, it is, because it killed Godzilla.
Well, we'll get into why. This movie is like the 40-year redemption arc, a second redemption arc for Dr. Serizawa, who was right about every fucking thing he said.
I told you, this was a very confusing movie.
It's not. It is when you don't read the subtitles.
Oh, I was reading.
The scientist is on TV explaining what micro-oxygen is, and he's being interviewed by Yukari Yamane, the niece of Amiko from the first movie, who returns to the franchise for the first and only time since the original movie, 41 years later. The grandson, who figures out what he thinks is going on with Godzilla, is just like a teenage kid. He's not like a real scientist. He's just like a smart teenage kid. And he somehow talks his way into G-Force with zero qualifications as they search for little Godzilla.
Well, that's all the best Godzilla organizations. You take anybody, like what is it, quirky kids or kids with mystery-solving abilities? Those are who you want heading up your organization.
Well, he's smart, but he also... I agree with this hypothesis on this. They're like, we got to find the little one. He's like, it's probably dead. And they're like, what are you talking about? He's like a Godzilla. He's like, no, Godzilla keeps living because he ingested all of that radiation. This Godzilla has not. He doesn't have the power of Godzilla. He's just
a big lizard.
He's just a big lizard. So like, and he's like, and most organisms die. And I'm like, this kid is cold and to the point, but he's not wrong. And if they wanted to write off Godzilla Jr., that would have been a great way to do it, because he's like, he probably didn't survive because this world's not for him, and he doesn't have the powers of Godzilla. He doesn't have the ability to keep regenerating and
the fire breath.
He doesn't have
nuclear breath.
Can't defend himself. Can't do anything.
I mean, he can step on things. He's big.
He's not that big until this movie. They don't know yet that he's that big. They're going off of him being a much smaller lizard.
Oh, he was way smaller than the other ones. Okay.
And the kid's probably right. He's like, he probably is dead.
But he's not.
No, we don't find that out for a while, though. Yukari visits Amiko, and we get a flashback to Dr. Daisuke Serizawa in the original movie.
In black and white.
Yeah, they didn't colorize it, you're right. But it's not a half an hour, the movie's not black and white. 30 seconds, half an hour into the movie is black and white.
Well, 30 and 30, it's close.
Amiko is worried that someone has recreated his invention 4 decades later. Now, that's not exactly what's happened, though, because the scientist has created micro-oxygen, which is not the same as the oxygen destroyer, but it's on the path, and he knows it. He knows that he can make the oxygen destroyer. So he's going to have to wrestle with the same kind of ideas that Serizawa had to do. Except all that happens to this poor scientist in this movie is that he never says he's going to do it. He says he has ethical questions about doing it. He doesn't want to disrespect the man's work. He understands the reasons he did what he did. And they're all, every scene for like a while, they're like, you're going to make the oxygen destroyer. And they just yell at this man. And I'm like, this man seems to be the only one who understands that there's limits to what he should do. Like, you don't seem to understand it. But then what do they do? Just like with Serizawa, what do they do like one scene after they finish yelling at him? Well, shit, you got to make us an oxygen destroyer because he's going to blow up the whole world.
Right.
And he's the one sitting there, and he's like, I don't know that we should. So the whole time he's like, this doesn't seem like a great idea. I've been testing these soil samples, and it seems like we might have a bigger problem on our hands. We got Godzilla melting down. We got a possible oxygen destroyer in the mix, which could destroy the whole fucking world.
Like always.
Little Godzilla's disappeared. And there's another problem because Destoroyah is on his way.
Yeah, where did he come from?
He came from they were building a tunnel near where Serizawa would have sacrificed himself.
Oh, okay.
And it unleashed creatures that were affected by his oxygen destroyer. So now these tiny little crabs-like things can combine together to be bigger, and they can be like bigger than humans. Then they can combine all together in their final Voltron form to be gigantic kaiju. But they also blast out a beam of basically oxygen destroyer. They're a cool fucking villain.
They're tough to beat, too.
They are. Because, well, we'll get to it. They do find Godzilla. They're not little. They find regular Godzilla because they find where the water's being heated. It's pretty cool.
All I could think about how many dead animals would be washing up in the wake of his.
Oh, yeah. His temperature's rising, and if he explodes, it would be more devastating than all the atomic bombs in the world going off. And it could ignite the atmosphere and burn the Earth, which was a concern with the original creation of the atomic bomb.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
that would make sense.
They couldn't theoretically prove beyond a doubt that the atmosphere wouldn't catch fire if they dropped it.
Well, there's only one way to figure that kind of stuff out, Brian, and that's just to do it.
That is correct. If you watched Oppenheimer, they get into it.
I didn't watch Oppenheimer. You keep saying Oppenheimer like you want me to watch this movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie, and you should watch it.
16 hours long.
3 of them, yeah.
Three. That's just almost as long as whatever I said was 30 minutes a while ago. The opening of this movie in black and white.
Well, they drop it not knowing 100%, but they're pretty sure. They're like 99.999% sure, but they don't have 100.
Well, the best part is if you're wrong, no one will know.
Well, you'll know. Not for long.
No, right? You won't get yelled at is what I'm saying.
You won't remember it.
No.
They do a really cool shot of Godzilla in the water, and they put him next to a battleship for scale. And then they fly a helicopter near the camera and undo the entire purpose of doing that shot. I laughed really hard when the helicopter popped in frame. And I'm like, what's the point of showing me the scale if now the helicopter's bigger than everybody?
But this is that's part of the charm of it, right? That's that blending of everything that is great about all the different eras of Godzilla movies.
Oh, do not mistake me. There is not one moment of this movie that I don't love.
Right, because it was...
But I laughed really hard when I was like, wow. Because it was in the middle of thinking it, like, that's a brilliant way to show how big... What's that helicopter doing right in front of the screen?
That giant helicopter.
The biggest helicopter I've ever seen. I cackled at it.
See, it's all about perspective. You were up in the sky, so the helicopter's closer.
And then Tupi cut to commercial because I couldn't watch it on the version I owned.
Man, sucks to be you.
It does.
It's pretty good without commercials.
So the scientist that created the micro-oxygen is studying the Serizawa event. And he's worried that creatures from 2.5 billion years ago that we later learn were awakened by the oxygen destroyer have emerged from the building of this tunnel. And it completes a 4-decade arc of Daisuke Serizawa, who didn't want to use the fucking thing in the first place because he knew that even doing something good with it would lead to something bad. And they make it a more direct form because it does lead to an actual monster. But he was right about everything. 41 years later, and he's still right about it. He's still affecting the plot decades later. I love it.
Wait, what was Serizawa's first name?
Daisuke.
You sure that's not his middle name and Andrew is his first name? Point to Pete.
Oh, fuck. No, I'm just picturing him with an eye patch going, Mary had a little lamb. Oh!
Imagine him taking out Godzilla.
Soloing a Godzilla?
Yes, with his oxygen.
Dickory, dickory, duck. The most popular man in the world for like 3 months.
There was a movie, and it was on HBO all summer, so I watched
The Adventures of Ford Fairlane?
Yep, that was the one.
I remember a tweet once where somebody said Harvey Danger was the Led Zeppelin of the summer of 1999, and I've never stopped thinking about it, and that's the Andrew Dice Clay of like 1988.
Yep, that was his time to shine.
He's like sold out Madison Square Garden 5 nights in a row or some shit. Like that's it. What
For that 1 year.
We've always been dumb. It's not a recent thing.
But you take your moment. I guess that's the key. Like, hey, people want to pay you, take it.
He was great, like legitimately great in the TV show Entourage, playing himself.
I don't even remember. I think I watched that show.
Kevin Dillon had his Johnny Bananas animated show, and one of the voices was done by Andrew Dice Clay, and he was legitimately great as himself. And I was like, good for him. He found a second thing all these years later. Because he has to know I'm being cast because it's a joke. Right. And he plays into, like, it's fun.
It always is, right? Like, that was the whole Gary Shandling, the Larry Sanders show, the Ricky Gervais Office. No, not The Office. Any of the ones where the people come in. Extras, that's the one.
And Life's Too Short.
Yes, with Warwick Davis.
Yes. And that is where we found out Liam Neeson was a comedian.
Never saw it coming.
You saw that clip, though, right?
Yeah,
right
no, I watched the show.
It's absolutely, you can't get through it without breaking. I don't know how they got through the scene.
Liam Neeson's, well, that gives me hope that I'm going to like the new Naked Gun movie.
As I said, I have AIDS. I'm lousy with it. Do you want to know where I got it? Sure. An African prostitute. He just deadpans the whole thing.
And this is easily 15 years ago, right? 20 years ago?
I'm a famous homosexual actor.
When Liam Neeson is Qui-Gon Jinn, and he's like a legitimate...
Oh, he's never done one comedic thing in his life, and they bring him in for this to be bad at comedy, and it's hysterical.
And at no point does he crack a smile.
No.
He's just the most serious, funny person there ever was. It's great.
It's legitimately hysterical. So I said if Miko comes back, she comes back for 2 scenes. She's cameoing in this movie. And I find some interesting details about her existence in this movie. Because she's very concerned about the warnings of Serizawa from 40 years ago. And she has a picture of Serizawa on her bookshelf.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Well, that's what I want to get into. Because the guy who played Hideto Ogata is the guy that, in the original movie, Amiko has broken her vow to marry Serizawa.
Oh, yeah, that guy. I remember.
It's a major plot point of that movie because she has to, a second time, break a promise to him. And she really doesn't want to do it, but to save the country, she does it. It's like where the entire emotional arc of the character comes from, is that she's already broken a promise to this man once. I don't see no Hideto Ogata in this movie. Now, the guy who plays him, Akira Takarada, was very much alive. And he'd actually played other characters in Godzilla movies before and after this.
Okay.
But they don't invite...
So it's a choice.
It's a choice that Hideto's out of the picture.
Because he got stepped on by Junior.
Well, clearly, she never got over seeing a real man. And his noble sacrifice made it impossible for her to ever be with another man again. Hence, why she is an aunt to everyone in this movie, and not the mother.
That makes a lot of sense. You know what else makes a lot of sense? Your pitch, your impassioned plea to get Serizawa into the cool dudes club.
Oh, Serizawa is he can't be in the club because he's so much older than everybody else, but he's like the Charlie from the Charlie's Angels giving the orders behind his eye patch.
All right, I like that kind of concept. But sometimes he takes part because he's cool.
Well, sometimes he has to.
Right, because he's a cool dude.
I just picture...
All right, I like it. I'm sold. You've done it.
She broke off this engagement, watched him sacrifice himself to save the world, and thought, I fucked up.
Hard.
And I can never be with another man again. And that's why I live alone with a picture of Serizawa on my bookshelf.
Because that picture is more manly than that other guy whose name I've already forgotten.
I couldn't believe they didn't have a Hidetoh update in this movie. Like, not even that he died, because it was such a major point of the movie that she had chosen Hidetoh over him.
Right.
And now it's like he just is erased from existence, but it's not because
there's still a picture on the mantle.
But it's not because the actor wouldn't come back, because he came back after this and before this for things. They just were like, we don't want it. We want people to see the devastation left by Dr. Daisuke Serizawa. When they cut to a flashback when she's having a dream of Serizawa, she wakes. It has to be because Emiko wakes up from seeing the flashback, and you see his little eye patch in the hole of his diving suit.
Oh yeah,
I was like, nobody's ever looked cooler than this.
He was a cool dude.
So basically, they want the scientists to develop the micro oxygen to make another oxygen destroyer, because the whole world's at stake this time, which is the same argument that happened in the first movie, except on a larger scale. And this is 20 minutes they give this guy shit about how you better not create an oxygen destroyer. There are like 3 scenes in a row where he's just trying to have lunch, and somebody pops in and goes, hey, buddy, you better not make an oxygen destroyer. And then she's just standing there going, I got enough oxygen destroyers laying around. I laughed real hard, because that's exactly kind of what happens in the first movie too.
Well, you got to make those prototypes, right? Just to make sure you know how not to do it in the future.
And that's actually what I liked about the scientist, was that Serizawa didn't realize what he'd done until he did it. But because this scientist has followed the work of Serizawa, he doesn't try to do it because he knows where to lead. He goes as far as he's willing to go on something that he knows will be helpful, and he knows that he can do it. But he's not going to try to do it to see if he can, because he knows it can be done. And he knows it's terrible because this great man who's breaking hearts all over town.
Decades after his death.
40 years later. Oh, I want the Emiko story for the 40 years of just her. She becomes a nun. Well, she liked caring about people. She liked taking care of people in the hospital.
Is that what nuns do?
I think they do.
I really don't know
in like other countries.
I really don't know what a
Here
nun
they just
does.
I hit you with rulers.
I don't know what a priest does either.
I know what he does.
Okay. I know what his preferences are.
So as you can see, the first act of this movie is not a lot of action, but it's all interesting stuff. And it's so connected to Serizawa that you can see why this one has always been one of my favorites.
And why it was in black and white.
It's a direct sequel. Like, other movies have been a sequel to that. Obviously, the 1984 movie was a sequel to it. Godzilla Raids Again was a sequel to it. All movies, in some ways, are sequels to it. This is the one that takes the most plot and says, what if 40 years later, shit happened because of that? What if we were faced with the same ethical decision? And what if Serizawa was so right that now his creation had created a monster too?
And then, after that first act is over, you wake up and you get these giant crab monsters attacking people who have come crawling out of nowhere.
First, they're like microscopic.
I don't remember them being microscopic.
Because the fish
I might have still been asleep.
The fish at the aquarium are dissolving like Godzilla did at the end of the first movie. And when they look at the video, they can see the heat signature of a tiny little imperceptible crustacean. And they all combine and do something you can see. They all combine into something bigger than us. And they all combine into something bigger than Godzilla.
That's right. But that comes later. And then it can fly after when it combines into the first size.
These little guys are like miniature Voltrons.
Yes. But instead of 5, there's 800.
And the police have to contend with some that are bigger than them, but not kaiju size yet.
They can still fit in buildings, is what you're trying to say.
What I'm saying is there's like 15 minutes of this movie that's like aliens, and it's cool.
Where they're, yes. I was wondering what they were hoping to find when they ran into the building, all of the...
Yeah, I don't think they expected to find what they found, but they basically found the movie Aliens for 15 minutes, and it was awesome.
It was. How did that part... Like, it was cool. And then you get all the fun jumping, and you get the cool melting of people's bodies with his anti-oxygen ray gun, or horn. Is it a horn shooter?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how he does it. That's fun. And then how does that part end?
Oh, they're going to hit them with... cryo lasers. We haven't gotten to the cryo lasers yet. They have cryo lasers because they want to cool down Godzilla with these freeze ray cryo lasers. And
seems a solid plan.
It does, except it doesn't work because now instead of they do freeze him and he's stuck for a while, and they think okay, it's at least bought us some time, but his temperature's still rising because now instead of igniting the air on fire and killing everybody, he's going to melt down and drill a hole into the core, and the Earth's going to implode that way. So
the computer rendering of it was pretty cool.
They didn't really make anything better. They didn't make anything better at all. They figure out they have like less than a week until they're completely fucked.
Right.
So what happens to the little crustaceans that are bigger than people? They use the freeze ray shit on them, and in order to combat that, they form into a bigger size.
Right, because it's all mist, and you're like, all right, they stopped. And then you're like, uh-oh, look at this giant fucker.
Yeah, the humans aren't as ineffective in this movie as they usually are. They actually do a good job doing things. They actually take out Destoroyah in the end, which is a rare win for the humans. We'll get to it in the end.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Because little Godzilla killed him. Little Godzilla finally reemerges. He doesn't. Little Godzilla finally reemerges, much bigger than the last movie.
He's not as big as Godzilla.
No, and he doesn't have the spikes on his back. He doesn't have the radiation core. He doesn't have any of the things that make Godzilla Godzilla. He's just a wee big lizard. Yeah, so the military rolls in with tanks with cryolasers on them. They attack the crustacean creatures who counter by joining together and combine into their form of Destoroyah.
Big Destoroyah, but not bigger.
Not as big as he'll get.
Yeah, not as big as bigger Destoroyah.
A plan is hatched.
Just like Godzilla.
To use Destoroyah and the oxygen destroyer beam it shoots.
Just like Serizawa.
To fight Godzilla and prevent his meltdown. This is maybe the best plan a human character's come up with in one of these Godzilla movies. I'm not kidding. Because when they thought of it, I'm like, they turned away. This is the 22nd Godzilla movie. They found a way to make the battle between these two monsters so important to the survival of humanity. It's never been that good.
And they're not on... The monsters, the kaijus, aren't on the side of humanity. They're on their own side.
Exactly.
Right.
So pitting them against each other to prevent one from exploding, but also maybe we'll take care of this Destoroyah problem.
This new problem that's cropped up.
It's never worked like that in these movies. This is the one time that they completely nail that there's a purpose for a versus.
Sometimes Godzilla's protecting us.
It's usually territorial. Or Godzilla protecting. I mean, this is a much better thing.
But the plan is actually a somewhat coherent plan, to your point. Usually their plan consists of, let's drop another nuke on them.
Exactly. And I was so proud of these human characters because this is next level thinking for them. But in order to do it, they have to lure the much less powerful Godzilla Jr. into Destoroyah's path and hope that the regular Godzilla follows.
Because, hey man, that's my buddy.
And the characters in G-Force that have a connection to him are like, I don't like this idea. He's clearly going to get destroyed because, first of all, this dude's name is Destoroyah.
It's in the title.
It's in the title. And secondly, this little dude's name's not in the title.
This guy doesn't even have a name. We call him Junior, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, exactly. He was Little.
Yeah.
His name was Little last movie. His name was Baby the one before. Now he's Junior. Oh, no. They know they're sacrificing this.
And they're his friends.
Godzilla. This is what I mean. This plot is so much better than most of these plots. And I like the goofy action where he's just Godzilla's headbutting Destoroyah when they're fighting because he can't do much else in the suit. I love that shit.
Yes, the suit fights are great. The giant cities made out of cardboard, when you see them blow apart. Anytime somebody flies across the screen,
Destoroyah looked badass flying in though because they put smoke all over the screen. I'm like, it was so easy to do it. It took 22 movies to figure out how to make it look cool.
And him dragging Godzilla looks fine instead of just like it's great classic kaiju fighting.
This is the peak of, I think, middle era Godzilla. And again, by middle, I mean everything from the second movie until about 2016. This is like the peak of it.
It is fun in that it, like we said earlier, it grabs everything from every era that is that you want to continue the story on, that has a good hook, that has an interesting character.
Well, Destoroyah flies in looking like a badass.
He can't fly until he combines.
He flies when he combines into his
that's
bigger
his
form.
new power.
Yes, and Junior is sent there by psychic persuasion, which again I'm curious about Noriko in the next movie because it's part of the lore. But since they reboot franchise, you don't know what parts they're going to use and not. And does that fit in with the way Godzilla -1 felt, the grounded reality of it? No, but
where do you go? What other story are we going to tell in part 2?
I think you could do that, and it's cool as fuck. She could also just mutate into a monster. I mean, there's many ways you could take it. I don't think it would go that way.
Ooh, if she became the giant kaiju he has to fight.
That's what I mean. You could do a lot of things. That happened before.
Did it really? Which one?
Biolante.
Okay.
Godzilla versus Biolante. scientist's daughter was sick or something, and then she ended
got
up becoming
them G genes.
Yeah, something like that. It's kind of. So it can happen. Anything can happen. I think they're going to go this way because I can just picture it being a much more interesting way to do the story. I can picture the epic,
Well, the people are so grounded, at least in the first one. This movie, Destoroyah versus the Destoroyah, is one of the times where I care about the people. Like, the people make sense to me. They're doing things that I care about. Most of the times, they're running around annoying me by not letting me watch Godzilla fight things. So in -1, it's the same thing. I care about the people. The story is there. So if there's a psychic connection, that's possibly more interesting.
Well, a couple of these characters in G-Force have been in multiple movies. So this is the end of their story too, which is the one thing, and I'm not calling it a flaw because I think this movie is basically perfect. One thing they could have done, and I understand why they didn't, was because this was the end of these characters as well. I was surprised there wasn't a noble sacrifice of some kind from either the girl with the psychic powers or the guy who led the division, the guys who had been around this before. But then I thought, that's Junior's job. That's why they didn't do it. Because all the emotion's supposed to be on the death of Godzilla and Junior's. Because Junior runs into Destoroyah, and it does not go well for Junior.
Destoroyah lives up to his name.
He doesn't have any ability to fight this thing, and he gets his ass handed to him.
It was sad. You're right. That was the sacrifice.
Godzilla shows up, and he looks awesome with his insides burning on the outside.
Oh, shit, yeah.
It's glowing. It's the coolest one. If you were going to make an action figure of a Godzilla, this would be the one to make. Because it's cool as fuck.
And it gets worse as the movie progresses. Like, as the countdown is getting closer to, like, total meltdown.
Yeah, he's rapidly approaching meltdown temperature. And he's about to reunite with Junior when Destoroyah emerges in his final form.
Gianter.
Yes. And he carries Junior off and drops him into a building and then hits him with the Destoroyah beam, and he looks dead as fuck.
He just lays there. And it's sad. We're all sad.
The humans are sad, and it actually works for a change.
Godzilla's just getting even redder.
Godzilla's pissed, but he's like, Godzilla's crying, and I'm like, I guess, but Godzilla's pissed. And he's minutes from meltdown and going into battle with an unstoppable kaiju monster with all the power of Dr. Serizawa inside of him, and the fucking music starts playing, and I'm just like, this is peak Godzilla. I don't know how anybody can have this outside of their top 5. It's rated very high. It usually isn't up in the top 10.
In like a Godzilla listing?
They don't get better than this. Like, sometimes there can be more emotional value to it, like Godzilla original and Godzilla -1, but they don't get better than this one for doing the Godzilla that we know from most of Godzilla's eras of Godzilla. Like, this is what Godzilla is done best. Rubber suited monster, some emotional stuff, beats that are hitting, action that's ridiculous and awesome, human characters that are not annoying.
That's always the hard sell.
The multiple things going on in this movie between Junior's arc, between Destoroyah's arc, between Serizawa's revival, between Godzilla melting down. Everything is working better than every other attempt to make these movies, in my opinion. It's the best of the non-specialized Godzilla movies, which I think the original Godzilla -1, they're not doing this. They're not kaiju battle movies. This is a kaiju battle movie.
Is that what you consider specialized then?
Yeah, because the original's doing an origin story and he's the only monster. Godzilla -1, he's the only monster. That's man versus monster. These movies are monsters versus monsters. And most of the movies in the franchise are monster versus monster. This is the best monster versus monster movie they ever made.
I am finding it hard to disagree with you because it ticks all of the necessary boxes.
There's a lot of great ones. There really are. This one's my favorite because so many things work. Everything works.
Now, do you think now they could go back to the rubber suit kaiju battles out like in a feature film type thing, not just like a Saturday morning cartoon-esque?
No.
I kind of feel the same way, and that makes me really sad.
Yeah, but we got like 40 of them. there are like 30 of these movies. Some of them are very good too.
Yeah, because we're leaning back that way. You look at things like Psycho Goreman and stuff, and we're getting back to more practical effects. So
you know what? Someone will one day make one like this that will be a hit, and it will surprise everybody. It'll only work once. It won't be Godzilla, but they'll make their own version of it.
What do you mean?
They'll create their own kaiju and do the same Godzilla-like story. Godzilla versus, not Destoroyah, but Godzilla versus Mothra, Godzilla versus...
In the costume.
They'll do their own thing with different characters, and it'll work once. It'll become a big underground hit that'll get a surprise release and then make a surprise amount of money, and people will try to make that into something, and it won't work. That's my prediction is that one day it will happen.
But not Godzilla.
But not Godzilla.
Okay.
No, because Godzilla -1, the effects were too good. Like they're getting better at the thing.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, how do we go? We can't go back after Godzilla -1. It seems they've nailed that look.
Yes, it's the best one. And they said the next one's going to have a bigger budget, and the same guy's doing the effects. I'm all in.
I get scared when I hear bigger budget.
I don't know. I'm not worried about it.
Unless
there's more destruction.
Unless they're giving the money to the actors. I'm like, no, you keep your shitty little sets and you figure it out.
Well, the humans are like, he's melting down. We are fucked. We're going to hit him with cryo lasers to contain the meltdown as much as possible. So they're monitoring to when he's going to explode. And the Epic Godzilla score is happening in the final battle with Destoroyah. Godzilla starts whooping that ass because he's got his meltdown powers. He's stronger.
Got the rage.
It's the first time, and he's got rage, and it's the first time you can hurt Destoroyah. He's actually getting hurt by it, and it's pretty cool. He's like spewing green bile everywhere. It's pretty cool.
No, yeah, absolutely.
The scientist says something completely wrong, though. The scientist in this movie. And I was like, I was on your side, and you were a smart guy. And he says, not even the oxygen destroyer can defeat Godzilla. Well, I have proof that the oxygen destroyer can defeat Godzilla, which means Destoroyah isn't using it right. Because what happens is that Godzilla's gone critical, and his attacks are much bigger and can hurt Destoroyah. That doesn't mean the oxygen destroyer can't stop Godzilla. We know an oxygen destroyer can kill Godzilla.
Right, that was established.
Yes, it's
in like, part 1.
Yes. So
even I know that.
Did not enjoy that scientist throwing that weird shade. You're using it wrong. Destoroyah starts attacking in his smaller forms, which is even cooler than the kaiju battle. It's actually pretty great.
Because Godzilla can't handle the small things.
No,
he's
it's
good
pretty
at fighting one big thing.
All the small things.
As Blink-182 prophesized.
Mm-hmm. As they prophesized a couple years after this.
That's right. One of those rare
retroactive
prophecies. Correct. You hear about them, but not very frequently.
I loved when Destoroyah disappears twice in this movie. Destoroyah disappears when he gets his ass handed to him by critical Godzilla, burning Godzilla they call him, but when he's going critical.
That was cool when he's melting and his spikes are...
Before that, he disappears in his big form, but then you're like, okay, it's over, because Godzilla goes over to be like, fuck, I'm dying here, and my little buddy's dead.
Oh, that's right, that was sad.
They all attack him in little form.
Hey, in that point, was he spitting radiation at little Godzilla?
Not yet.
Okay.
That's a very key thing that's coming. So all the little ones are fighting him, and Godzilla's fighting them all off, and it's even cooler than the other one. And he defeats them all. So now Godzilla's won a second time. And he's like, now I'm going to go over and see my little buddy here. And he heads over to Junior's body, who now only seems slightly dead because he's moving a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
So I think there is something to his meltdown.
Without transferring power.
They haven't connected it yet, but I think it must be because he looked dead as fuck, and now his eyes blinking and his hands moving a little bit.
All right, so he was just by being that close to a critical meltdown level Godzilla.
As Godzilla starts to melt down, he's hit by the Destoroyah beam from the once again fully formed Destoroyah. This fucking thing will not stop. I love him. My favorite
sneaks up on you too.
Villain in these movies. The army brings their cryo weapons into place to try to contain the meltdown, but Destoroyah tries to take off and avoid the explosion that's coming. And they hit him with the weapons and freeze his wings, and he crashes down to his death. So they kill Destoroyah.
That was what killed him.
Yes.
That's right, because Godzilla, meanwhile, is going critical.
No, score 1 for the humans for a change. They really showed up in this movie. It was good for them. They hit Godzilla with the cryo lasers, and he starts to come undone. He's melting.
That was badass.
Like the Wicked Witch of the East.
It was sad, though.
It was sad. It was sad.
It legit, even though he's a goddamn bad guy, and he was a bad guy throughout this movie. Well, that's tough. Even though he'd done a lot of damage throughout this movie, it's still sad.
It was the whole movie. He's just a ticking time bomb. And he's melting, and he's expelling radiation all over the city, and the radiation levels go way up, and he leaves Tokyo completely uninhabitable. But suddenly, all those radiation levels start to come down because they're being absorbed by Junior, who emerges bigger, stronger, and the new king of the monsters. Badass shot as they pull the camera through the mist, and you see him there in his full form, the new Godzilla. And then the movie ends. And it was a perfect fucking ending.
That makes way more sense. I thought Godzilla just got back up after he melted.
No,
well, see, yeah, it's much better that Junior gets up.
They set it up so perfectly at the
beginning.
Because
he had spikes now, and he has.
They set it up so perfectly at the beginning when the grandson says he's not like Godzilla. He hasn't absorbed the radiation Godzilla has. Well, now he has. So it's
now
funny
he
that
is Godzilla.
The series ends with a rebirth but I love it. I love that it ends with, like, he's still out there.
Well, that's what you want. You want to have Godzilla always out there. What was Destoroyah's deal? He just woke up and said, fuck this place?
Again, he's a monster who does monster things. And he didn't wake up. He was unleashed accidentally because they were digging in places they shouldn't have been digging.
Yeah, but if he could combine, why didn't he just combine and pop out of whatever that dirt he was living in? Like, I don't understand his motive. He's like, today, I'm going to be mean. I was fine living in my dirt, not doing anything.
I think he was probably looking for his father, Dr. Serizawa.
I don't know what the equivalent is now, but the Maury Povich TV show back in the day.
You're picturing Serizawa dancing. Yes. You're not the father.
His shtick was, I will figure out who your father is with a DNA test.
Do you think they should have done a crossover between Maury Povich and the TV show Dinosaurs?
That would have been something.
Because not the mama.
Not the mama. That's right. It would have been something. That's a sketch. That's a sketch somewhere.
Yes, in 1992. There's a sketch from 1992 if we did it. We just had to get the time machine.
Told you it was somewhere. This was a fun movie.
Yeah, it's a perfect movie.
It's a fun movie even when you watch it in 3 parts.
For being a Godzilla movie, it's a perfect Godzilla movie. It's not a perfect movie.
No, they never are.
It's got all kinds of stupidity in it, and there's some odd cuts, odd time jumps. Like, odd to get your head around some of the things that are happening. Because a guy in a scene will be in the next scene, and I'm like, where did we go?
That happens a lot. And
I thought not the highest quality filmmaking I've ever seen.
Part of that, again, I assumed was me watching it in sections. I guess you sort of had it too, because you watched it with many little commercial breaks.
I guess so, but this wasn't what it was the problem. There was like a scene where I'm watching the scientist, and then it's like, I don't know what day it is, I don't know where we are, but we're watching the same character, and I have no idea what's happening.
I thought that was because I was watching it in different sections of time, but it was confusing. Yes. I told you it was confusing. This is the most confusing of the Godzilla movies. There's psychic girls, there's baby Godzillas,
It would have played better had we watched this whole Heisei era, at least the last 2 movies, because they introduced the G-Force, they introduced the psychic powers, they introduced Godzilla Jr.
That's fun.
Those things pay off here.
That you get that payoff.
This movie works so fucking well, even without knowing any of that, because it's just everything feels important and exciting. Every new discovery is like, oh shit.
Where do they go after? Like, what was the next one after?
They stopped.
Until 1998 with fucking Broderick?
Yes, which is not connected. So they brought this back in the Millennium era. Godzilla 2000 would have been the next one.
I don't think I saw 2000.
I liked it. It actually is the movie that got me back into Godzilla. I had not seen this one. I had not seen this era yet. I'd seen Godzilla 1985 with Raymond Burr, and then I didn't see the ones from the 80s and 90s. So I saw Godzilla 2000, and it's not one of the ones that's even good, but I enjoyed it. Then that led to some good movies, too. And I kept watching those movies, and I went back and watched these, and I was like, by the time I got to Godzilla vs. Destoroyah, I was like, holy shit. Like, you're telling me they stopped making these to make that fucking American Matthew Broderick one? Because this movie is a fucking masterpiece. Compared to that one, it's the best movie ever made.
There were so many, so many things wrong with the Broderick one.
I
feel bad saying Broderick, like he's the one who did it.
No, it's fine.
There were lots of people involved.
I think it's fine.
Fucking P. Diddy was the soundtrack.
Jean Reno.
Oh, man. I like him. He doesn't get any flack for being in that shitty movie.
Hank Azaria.
He should be getting flack for being in that shitty movie.
Zero minorities in New York City.
Well, isn't that how New York is?
It must be.
I've only been there a handful of times, but I don't remember there being people. It was a very empty city.
Yeah, we were there in the rain once. Were you there with me? No, it was somebody else. I don't think I've been to New York with you.
You've been to New York more than once?
Oh, I've been to New York with you.
Yeah, we went to go see...
It was Madison Square Garden. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
We saw Madison Square Garden, then we went home.
There was no Godzilla eggs in there that I saw.
I was looking.
I was looking too.
They thought they'd be in the bathroom.
I know you didn't watch all of Godzilla 1988 last year, but I just keep thinking about how fucking Toho walked away from this franchise for years after this movie.
Toho was involved?
Yeah. Toho owns the property, so they're involved in all these things. And they walk away from this franchise for a while to get that fucking turd dropped on their doorstep.
It's bad. It's bad even in comparison to whatever the last legendary Godzilla movies are. The one I didn't see. Is it X?
Oh, it's bad compared to that. Yeah, it's way worse than Godzilla X.
Which is fucking incredible. New Empire, because it looks awful from what I've seen. Yeah,
it's bad.
But somehow 98 is worse.
The American series has held up longer than I expected it to, because I didn't hate the original. I didn't hate the 2014 Godzilla, although I think it's boring.
Yep.
I did like Kong Skull Island a lot.
Yep.
I did like Godzilla versus Kong a lot. I did like Godzilla King of the Monsters a lot too, even though I know that people don't like that one. I do.
There were fun monster fights.
So I got, one decent movie, 3 movies I liked. That's longer than I expected it to hold up.
That's true.
And then it fell off on this one, and it's like, that's fine.
Fell off hard. The last one, if I recall correctly, had fun people doing hijinks.
That was Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
Godzilla X. Oh, Godzilla X. That wasn't Godzilla X Kong New Empire, though.
No, it was the one before that.
Yes. New Empire's not good. It doesn't have fun people doing fun things. It has entire long scenes where monkeys talk to each other without using words. And that's after watching the deaf girl talk to Kong without words. And then she finds a whole group of underground people that she can talk to without words. And I'm like, how many more of these are we going to have here? Because half this movie is just sign language.
Are you going to have to read that one again? Because that makes it tough for me. I don't know sign language.
Yeah, but nobody says anything interesting because they're fucking monkeys. Monkeys don't have anything interesting to say to each other.
I heard that they can write Shakespeare.
You did hear that.
I did hear
I'm not
that.
surprised you heard that.
That's what I heard. I know you've been waiting for the Nick news.
Oh, no.
You think that it will go. It's been a while. It's been a minute. But you know from last year or the year before, one of the years, you know that Nick Cage is a kaiju fan. You know this fact. Do you remember the Nick Cage? How was he involved? He was somehow involved with the Wolfman versus Godzilla.
Yeah, he said it should be released.
Yeah. I saw a picture of him holding the poster.
Is that the news?
That was some news, but I got more. Now, this one's not really news so much as it's all sort of a Nicolas Cage Godzilla thing I found this morning when I was like, I need some fresh Nick news, hot off the presses. So that was the one. I saw that picture. Here's my Cage quiz. What is his favorite Godzilla movie?
Oh, he's kind of a pretentious douche. What could he like? Because remember, all his favorite movies are like movies nobody wants to see, like 8.5 and stuff. Like nobody wants to see that.
I don't even know what that is.
What would be his best favorite one? I mean, you want to say the original because you want to have some respect for him. I'm going to go with his favorite one is Godzilla versus Mothra.
Ooh. No, it's Godzilla versus Hedorah, the smog monster. He likes it. He likes all those early ones. He calls them mindless fun. You can just like watch them and enjoy. He loves the idea of the kaiju, but he watches it and he views it from the perspective of the guy in the costume. What's it like being that monster, just turning into this force of destruction that walks around? You can really lose yourselves in that. And I think he wants to play one, which leads me to my rumor mill. This is a new one. The rumor mill is that I wrote a headline for it. Ready? Mm-hmm. I've been working on it, so I'm not quite sure. No, here. King Nick Cage to play Kong in the next Godzilla versus Kong movie. Nick Cage is supposed to play King Kong.
What are we doing?
This is the rumor I heard.
This is the rumor you heard.
Can you imagine? Did you like my headline?
I didn't hear it.
Cage to play Kong.
What are we doing with our lives?
But imagine Nicolas Cage is one of those monkeys talking to other people.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend watching Godzilla X Kong New Empire. It's not good.
And now if Nicolas Cage was the monkey. Oh, Cage is Kong, Bryan. Cage is Kong. Cage Kong.
I did my ape impression for him.
That's kind of like his character in The Croods. And Croods 2, A New Age, the superior Croods.
That's what you tell me. Way more often than you need to.
Because every time I think of it, part 2 is so much better than part 1. Even though Nicolas Cage is in part 1, so you assume it's great. Also, I forgot to do my credit check. There wasn't a bunch, but there was something called...
No, but they were in English.
Some of them.
Some of them were.
Now, there was something called a Seript girl. Seript. Seript. I didn't know what that was. And Google keeps giving me script girls, which is SCRIPT. Like a script girl takes notes, like as a director's assistant kind of thing, like shots and all this stuff for him. I don't know what a Seript girl is. It might be some kind of code, like a computer code to run programs.
That's serif. You're thinking of a.
This is what I got. No,
I know what you're thinking of. You're thinking of a font.
That it could be, but this is what I'm getting from the internet. See, the word seript is also in those things like how many words can you make from this jumble of letters? Seript pops up quite a bit, but I don't know what a seript girl is. And I can't solve this mystery. And usually we solve mysteries on this program.
To do anything to solve it.
Yeah, you'll see. It's going to say
Spell it for me.
S-E. It's like script, but with an E instead of a C. And I know you're going to say the C and the E look a lot alike lowercase, and maybe you were tired when you were watching it, Pete, and it was late in the morning, early in the morning, and you thought it was wrong, but it's not. I squinted real good, and it still said S-E-R-I-P-T, a Seript girl.
Yeah, I think it probably was script girl.
Nope, it's an E. I double looked.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, that was it.
You didn't see the most interesting thing in the credits?
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of watching all the old
right
footage.
Right at the end of the credits. It was cool.
Right, I was paying more attention to that.
That was actually very cool. All clips from all these other movies.
Oh, it was great.
It was the end of an era.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too now.
Near the very end, there was 4 lines that came up in a row. 3 of them were bunched together and one was a little separated. And the one said, Toho, who's the company, right? It said Toho Photography, Toho Lighting. Nothing's credited. It just says Toho Photography, Toho Lighting, Toho whatever. And then it said Toho and a person's name. And I was befuddled. So they used Toho Lighting, they used Toho Photography, they used Toho something else, and they just used Toho whatever this person was.
Okay.
Like, there's no credit for this. It just said those things in a row, and then the 4th one popped up, it was a person. Like, Toho was just showing all the things they owned, and I guess they owned that person.
You see, there are many mysteries. I'm so happy that you've realized the importance of end credits. There are so many mysteries waiting to be solved.
I did miss most of them because I was also watching the clips.
Dude, that was awesome.
They weren't clips from this movie.
No.
They were clips from the history of Godzilla.
And all of it, not just this era either. Just everything that came before.
Well, this was both the end of that era, and they knew that, but it was also, they figured, the end of Japanese Godzilla. They thought it was going to America to become a giant hit. And then they got that movie, and they're like, guess we're making new Godzilla movies.
Welcome home, Godzilla.
But they thought this again. They thought this when they gave the...
Legendary.
Yeah, but they did make one 2 years after Godzilla. They liked the idea of Shin Godzilla so much that they greenlit it, even though they were like, we gave it to America to do again.
I haven't seen Shin Godzilla yet.
We'll get to it probably one of these Godzilla years. The reason that it's so different, though, is that Shin Godzilla is completely different than all these other movies. It is more procedural. It's more of a comedy of the people trying to solve this Godzilla problem. And some of it's lost in translation. It takes a couple viewings sometimes to get how funny it is. It's hysterical.
All right.
They take this concept of the inept humans to a level of just perverse comedic form.
Yeah, it's just like a bureaucratic government that's just stuck in its own way.
And it's played so straight. And you're watching with subtitles, and you can't. It's difficult. It's a difficult movie. There's fun Godzilla parts in it, wild Godzilla parts too, because he's transforming into different forms. Some of which are completely fucking wild. And there's cool concepts, and there is some of that. But mostly, you're sitting in rooms of people talking at each other, and it's the one of the funniest movies once you get on its wavelength. But it takes a few trips around to do it.
Maybe now that I'm forewarned, I can go in with that mindset and catch it.
At one point in the movie, they're having a meeting that they know is useless, and it gets interrupted to have a second meeting. And that's one of those moments where you're sitting there going, like, is this whole thing a comedy? And then you watch it back and you go,
I think it is.
I get it. Everyone, this is how inept everyone in government is when something like this breaks out. That's what the movie is. But I don't know that everybody who even likes the movie gets that.
That's pretty cool. I want to see it.
It's a fascinating movie that I think is brilliant, but it's so different than the other Godzilla movies that I almost don't count it the same. And then Godzilla
standalone ones.
Godzilla Minus One is one of those movies where somebody just pitched them an idea they thought was too good not to do, and then it became a massive worldwide phenomenon. And Scareville Award winning for Best Picture.
It was good. Hey, look what I hung up on my basement wall over by Gambit in honor of the week.
Can't see anything over there.
It's my Godzilla IMAX picture when we went to see Godzilla Minus One. I stole it from the kids' room. It's down here where it belongs. You see, he's next to Gambit, so I think that's going to be my G wall. People say, like, hey, where's your G spot? I'll go to the basement, the wall facing the backyard.
Next week is...
Get it? G-spot.
Next week is The one we've been waiting for a while.
Ooh, what?
Friend of the podcast, Mark, should be back on.
Yeah, what are we watching?
The Final Girls.
Ooh.
Another
Wait.
fun movie.
There can't be final girls. Final is singular.
Pete, you don't know how right you are.
Ooh, I'm right, but I don't know how. And I don't know why. I got to watch this movie.
I like how I said something and you said the exact same thing, just changed some of the placement of the words. Pete, you don't know how right you are. Ooh, I'm right and I don't know how.
Or why. Or when. I was right about something. I'm excited.
The Final Girls is a really fun movie.
Never seen it.
It's a meta movie.
Like Metamucil? Mm-hmm. Cool. I need fiber.
It's, we talk about Final Girls a lot on here.
Do we?
I try to educate you.
Oh, not the movie. The Final Girls, like the last girl who survives a horror film.
Yeah, I try to educate.
Sometimes they're not girls.
I try to educate your unwashed mass. And I fail every time, but I try. Nevertheless, I persisted.
I learned things about stuff.
And yeah, you learned about Godzilla vs. Destoroyah today.
I did. And you learned about Nick Cage.
No, I didn't. In one ear out the other, I got no idea.
My favorite part, though, is that it does lodge somewhere. And sometimes you'll spit out Nick Cage facts to me that I've forgotten.
Well, we were on our run of doing fun movies, and I think that
Final Girls fits.
Final Girls fits.
Yeah.
Godzilla vs. Destoroyah sure fit. We're going to have a special episode in 2 weeks that was a random watch-along that I think fits.
I like fun movies. I'm tired of the horror movies that scare me and make me feel bad about myself. Like, or not, just in general. I'm looking at you, Speak No Evil.
Yeah, we made a concerted effort to turn this into a more fun run.
I'm so much happier.
Yeah.
Let's wait till it's deep, dark winter and we haven't seen sun for a while and then start hitting up those really bleak ones again.
Well, when it's deep, dark winter, we'll be halfway through our procedural episodes we have to do. That's sad enough on its own.
Fan favorite procedural episodes.
But then we got more fun stuff. I've got the tentative plans for early next year, and we're gonna go from these procedural ones, which of course I'm talking about Thanksgiving, where we give thanks to Toni Collette this year.
What movies did she do? We'll talk about it later.
We do this every week. Might as well just keep doing it because people love it. It's a favorite segment.
But there's only
Pete
like
tries
three.
to remember the movies she made.
She's only
The
made
Sixth
three.
Sense,
Yep.
Hereditary, Fright Night is what we're doing.
Those are the only three she made.
She made Krampus.
Oh, yeah.
We're
That's the
gonna
only
save that
four
for
she
Christmas.
made. I looked up her filmography because I was going to be funny and watch every one of her movies except the ones you told me to watch.
Yeah, I don't
but it
think
turns out she doesn't do many horror movies.
No, that's why I picked the horror movies she did.
But they're,
Then we'll have the After Thanksgiving Mashed Potato Mashup, where we got to figure out what movies you're going to watch on that one.
yeah, stuff I've seen. I just saw something.
Okay.
I just saw a movie.
We're doing great. And we're going to have the Christmas Spooktacular coming up, where Kitty joins us, and we all pick a Christmas movie to make each other watch. And we're going to have the Scare Value Top 10, the Scare Value Awards, Nick Cage birthday.
Yeah, that's where you learn lots of stuff about Nick Cage.
And once we emerge from that dark cloud, we will do fun movies again. I got a lot of fun movies written down.
As fun as House 2?
As more fun than House 2.
Impossible.
I'm glad that, thank God, Frankenhooker brought me back from the edge.
Oh, man, Frankenhooker was great.
Thank God I brought me back from the edge.
Fuck, I want to watch that one again.
House 2 dropped me off of because I didn't want to watch a movie again after seeing that. And then I got Frankenhooker, and I was like, never mind, I'm right back on top.
That was a good. I can't believe
Got
I never.
any money?
Fucking hell.
Need a date?
That it's popular now or no? Like cult status? No, no one knows. People know Frankenhooker.
Horror fans know Frankenhooker, but
Okay.
nobody fucking knows Frankenhooker. You go up to people on the street, they're going to be like, get away from me, you creep.
I heard that what was it? A prostitute Bigfoot is called a hirsutitude. It's just what I heard.
Frankenhooker has exploding prostitutes because they did super crack. That episode, it really turned this podcast around. Because now we're having fun every week.
Super crack.
We're having fun because of the super crack.
Well, we all do our super crack and then we all explode.
Yep.
Enjoy. All right, so I'm looking forward to it. Final Girls.
The Final Girls. It's fun. It's got Taissa Farmiga.
That's a
and
name I know.
Malin Ackerman. And other people.
Jack Black?
No. It does. It's a movie that is very funny because you've watched enough horror movies to get why it's funny. And it's people stuck basically in like a 1980s slasher movie.
Okay. So tropes and
Yes.
things of that nature.
Yes. And
Cliches.
some really funny ideas of what like masculinity in the 80s was. And
short shorts and crop tops.
Yeah, it knows what's funny, but it also has like a surprisingly effective emotional beat to it, arc to it, because it was co-written by the son of Jason Miller. Jason Miller played Father Damien Karras in The Exorcist. He has passed away now, and his son, who wrote the script, I listened to a commentary of them talking about it. So the idea came from how weird that is. That, my dad, I know it was my dad, he's dead, and then this thing that everybody wants to talk about, this thing that exists, I think I can go back and watch, is him dying in this very famous movie. So it takes the idea of, I lost my mother, she's in this 1980s movie, and I can revisit her, but this is what I have to see, is that she's going to be killed in this movie. And the emotions in it work because they come from a really good place, but the movie's first goal is to be fun and funny. So it kind of combines into like a lot of little Destoroyahs into a big Destoroyah of fun but surprising emotional depth.
Do they contain all of this in 90 minutes?
Yep.
Oh. Yep. Oh. I'm excited again. I was getting bored. You were explaining, and it sounded like there's a lot to pack in, and I'm like, this is going to be over 90 minutes. I don't think I can watch it.
They got a lot of fun. They have a lot of fun in that. They pack a lot of fun into what I'm going to guess is a 92-minute runtime.
Fuck that movie. I'm out.
But I was going to say you can skip the credits, but I think the credits have stuff on them.
I can't skip the credits. That's
right.
The whole thing I do around here.
You know what? You have my permission to fast forward 2 minutes into the movie.
You know what? You can probably skip the first 10 minutes of almost any movie and pick up.
In this one specifically, that would probably be a bad idea because you'd miss out on the entire mother character.
Yeah, but you can pick it up. She misses her mom. I get it. They'll explain it.
You could pick it up.
Right.
You got it.
Right. Now, credit stuff.
Yeah. There's cool credits. There's fake credits in this one, followed by real credits.
Shh, don't spoil it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm spoiling the good part.
Yeah.
No, it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. It also has it has your favorite comedian Thomas Middleditch in it. And he's funny in it too.
That sucks. It sucks because he sucks.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
No,
all right.
It's a good one. And Mark should be here, I'm told.
I've been told that too.
All right. We'll have fun with that next week.
Someone has to tell Mark now.
And then we'll have even more fun the next week when we do a watch along that we already recorded that turned out way better than I ever expected it to because we just picked a random movie and it worked.
What movie?
Clown in a Cornfield.
Never seen that.
And then we're into procedural stuff and we'll get through it together.
Like Law and Order.
My advertisement for the podcast. We'll get through this together. We'll see you next week.